In this video, we are going to examine the latest available data on who built the Teotihuacan, how the religion of Teotihuacan evolved, the influence of Teotihuacan culture across Mesoamerica, and the collapse of the Teotihuacan. And finally, we will also take a look into what is going on at the moment. Hello everyone, welcome to Ancient Insights channel. Teotihuacan is an ancient Mesoamerican city located 30 miles or 50 kilometers northeast of modern-day Mexico City. The city, which was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987, was settled as early as 400 BC and became the most powerful and influential city in the region by 400 AD. By the time the Aztecs found the city in the 1400s and named it Teotihuacan, meaning the place where the gods were created, the city had been abandoned for centuries. Teotihuacan's origin, history, and culture largely remain a mystery. But then, who built Teotihuacan and when? It is generally unknown who built the ancient city. Scholars once believed the ancient Toltec civilization may have built the massive city, based largely on colonial period texts. But the Toltec culture that reigned between 900 to 1150 AD flourished hundreds of years after Teotihuacan reached its zenith. Other scholars believe the Totonacs, a tribe from the east, built and inhabited the city. Another theory holds that immigrants flooded into the Teotihuacan Valley following the eruption of a volcano, and those immigrants built or augmented the city. Teotihuacan appears to contain figures of various cultures including the Maya, the Mixtecs, and Zapotec. Whatever the case, Teotihuacan was founded as early as 400 BC, though the largest structures of the city weren't completed until about 300 AD. It is thought that the city reached its peak around 100 years later, with a population as high as 200,000 people. What is the religion of the people of Teotihuacan? Little is known about the language, politics, culture, and religion of the Teotihuacan people. They had a glyph-based written language, but they have been limited to dates and names. The art and architecture of the city showed it was a polytheistic society, with the primary deity being the great goddess of Teotihuacan, which is depicted as a spider goddess. Other deities include Quetzalcoatl, a vegetation god whose meaning changed in subsequent civilizations, the rain god Tlaloc, and the god of spring Zipetotec, among others. The Teotihuacan priests practiced ritual sacrifices of animals and people to these gods. In 1989, researchers discovered 18 sacrificial victims buried in a long pit just south of the temple of Quetzalcoatl. They later discovered that around 200 other victims were sacrificed when the temple was built in the early 3rd century AD. Many of these sacrifices were male warriors in military attire, others were young women, and others still were males likely of relatively high social status. More recently, in 2004, archaeologists uncovered evidence of sacrifices at the Pyramid of the Moon that suggest the site was a place to celebrate state power and militarism. These sacrifices included 12 people with their hands bound behind their back, 10 of whom were decapitated and tossed about at the burial vault within the pyramid. The other 2 sacrifices were richly ornamented. Other sacrifices at the pyramids include 5 canines, 3 felines, and 13 birds, many thought to be eagles, animals believed to be symbols of warriors. Teotihuacan far-reaching influence. Artifacts found in the city and sites across Mexico suggest Teotihuacan was a wealthy trade metropolis in its prime. In particular, the city exported fine obsidian tools including spear and dart heads. Teotihuacan had a monopoly on obsidian trade. The most important deposit in Mesoamerica was located near the city. Ceramics such as pottery and other luxury goods were also highly prized export goods because of their elaborate decorations. Other goods coming into and out of the city likely included cotton, cocoa, and exotic feathers and shells, among other things. Local harvests included beans, avocados, peppers, and squash, and the city farmers raised chickens and turkeys. The art and architecture style of Teotihuacan are found widely throughout Mesoamerica, suggesting the city had far-reaching influence. The collapse of Teotihuacan. It is unclear why Teotihuacan collapsed, but around 600 AD, major buildings were deliberately burned and artworks and religious sculptures were destroyed, suggesting an uprising from the poor against the ruling elites. Another theory holds that invaders sacked and burned it. Though Teotihuacan exerted its military power over other cultures, the city lacked fortifications and military structure. By 750 AD, the remaining inhabitants of the city had also abandoned their homes to join neighboring cultures or return to their ancestral homes. The latest and ongoing research. In 2003, a large sinkhole at the temple of Quetzalcoatl was opened after a heavy rainstorm. Researchers have been excavating the site since. By late 2015, they had unearthed 75,000 artifacts of various types, including seashells, pottery, animal bones, and human skin. They also uncovered a large chamber containing vast amounts of jewelry and other treasures, such as amber jars, black stones, and other ritual relics. Kindly click on this video here for more information on what has been discovered in a tunnel that has been found under the Pyramid of the Moon at Teotihuacan. See you over there in that video. Thank you very much.